Hello everyone, thank you so much for choosing to be here. In the next 12 minutes, we are going to unpack the following quote together. If you have to put someone on a pedestal, put teachers. They are society's heroes. When you put someone on a pedestal, you think of them as a person with no faults and give them your uncritical admiration. So let me tell you about a teacher who was put on a pedestal by his entire community. I read the story in an essay by O. Kejriwal. There lived a fake spiritual teacher who was believed to have the ability to foretell the sex of a child before birth. And many people flocked to him because one, it was a land that discriminated against girl children, and number two, the teacher was somehow always right. Much later in the story, he is put in a situation where he had to tell his wife about his trade secret. He tells her, when someone comes to me, I tell them something that comes to my mind. So I say boy child. And immediately after, I write girl child down in my diary. So if my prediction is right, it is right. If they come to me saying I was wrong, I show them the book and tell them they must have heard it wrong. This story reminded me of this always right image of certain teachers. We believe everything that fits this image, that it is sometimes enough to cancel certain misdeeds of theirs. We even accept abuse and behavior of a teacher that adversely affects the mental, physical, and psychological well-being of students because of this image. While one angle is the society putting two teachers on a pedestal, denying their truth to accommodate the lies of the teacher, because this image has made us think that it's a sin to question the teacher. Another angle is how teachers pressurize themselves or others pressurize the teachers to always be right about everything. For those of you who are thinking that you have never pressurized the teacher to be right, you're going, Nimi, I am not that harsh. Not a part of that. I bet you have been in one of these two situations. Number one, you mock a teacher because the teacher misspelled a word on the board or the teacher forgot your name. Number two, you get your answer paper, you realize that the teacher probably forgot to add the marks on that one page in between, and you are frustrated because you did not get the marks that you deserve. Now think about what contributes to the pressure to be always right. And situations like the ones I told you and many more. And the pressure has definitely increased today with online classes. A lot of learning and unlearning has taken place and is taking place. The second half of the quote says that teachers are our society's heroes. I have a lot to say about this concept of the hero as such, using it in association with teachers and what the consequences are of this. Number one, think about the Happy Teachers Day posts that circulate on social media and how they are eerily similar to your Happy Mother's Day, Father's Day and so on, which put elders on a pedestal collectively. What connects most of them is this notion of self-sacrifice. Like how heroes put themselves after everyone else, they sacrifice their time for the society. It's always society in front of the self. We expect a teacher, similarly, to sacrifice their time with the family, friends or themselves because they must invest in many other activities that are academic, co-curricular, extracurricular and whatnot. I had sent out a form to teachers and facilitators and I asked them a lot of questions. One of them was about their relaxation time, specifically about their weekends. And I would like to read out 3 answers. The first is from an ex-teacher who said, weekends were just like weekdays. Second is from a professor. The concept of weekends sounds foreign right now. The third is also from a professor. No weekends, no breaks. Last 1 year was one continuous cycle of work stress and adapting to new technologies. Painful. Except for the pain, I think that sounds way too much like the life and schedule of a robo, and I'm bringing in more parallels between a robo and a teacher. Another question I'd asked is, do you prioritize your students' mental health before yours? The most popular answer is a yes, And the second most popular answer is that they are trying hard to prioritize their mental health because they are so used to prioritizing their students' mental health. So, knowingly or unknowingly, we are expecting teachers to sacrifice their time and, in extension, their health as well. And I would also like to point out that this selfless image of the teacher and this entire idea that teaching is the most noble profession, I feel is also sadly used as the excuse to justify a bad pay for the teachers. Another hero characteristic is speedy action. Let's look at a story like Akbar and Birbal. From the many stories, King Akbar's name comes first in the title, but we all know who the hero is. And the reason we consider Birbal a hero is not only because he gives solutions, it is because he gives prompt solutions. He never tells Akbar, hey, I have other work to do in the court. I think we should solve this problem when I'm in the right mind space or when I'm more informed about the problem. The story would not have moved forward and we would have labeled him disrespectful and lazy. And this promptness is what we expect from teachers. All of us have been there, where we have waited for our marked papers on a Monday morning. And we wait for our teacher to walk by the corridor. We see that she's not carrying the bundle of our answer papers. And you think, why hasn't the teacher graded our papers? She had the entire weekend to herself. A hero, say in a movie, is in charge of the fights. The hero fights the family, fights institutions, fights the society. And in the span of the 2 hours of the movie, the hero would have finished all of these tasks. And similarly, a teacher is in charge of so many things. Drama club, annual day function, this fest, that fest, substitution. And I'm not saying teachers don't enjoy any of this. Maybe it's relaxation for them. But what we have to ask ourselves is how long are we going to cover up about the mental health concerns relating to elders overworking? And how long are we going to think that the band-aid is telling them it comes with the job? I had conducted a small experiment with a few of the kids I teach, where I asked them who a good teacher is. And after they gave me the answers, I asked them who a good student is. Consciously did that so that they don't calculate their answers and try to be smart. And I tried to find the connections. I'll give you examples. So one of the responses was that a good teacher is someone who can listen to the students. I found a match with the other set of answers, which is a good student is someone who listens to the teachers. This side, a good teacher corrects papers on time. And on that side, I found out that there is a match where they said a good student gives the homework on time. One response I could not get a match for is this. A good teacher is someone who understands the student's feelings. There was nothing similar to this, let alone finding a match. This reminds me about how it takes a one-of-a-kind person to understand the feelings of a hero in a story. Because not everybody understands the world of the hero, simply because it's different. But I firmly believe that a teacher's world should be understood much better. And I want the system to be in a place where it should not be surprising when both teachers and students try to understand each other's worlds. During the pandemic time, a student is missing out on those PT periods where they could move around, lunch hours where they, which they would remember more than the subject hours in the future, doodling on the blackboard and erasing it just before the teacher is entering. All of these are little joys that the students are missing. And for the teachers, what might they be missing? Teachers who needed eye contact with the students in the physical classroom are now looking at a blank screen with just names of students. Teachers who like pacing around the class to deliver content are now sitting still for hours. Teachers who wanted to use the ink to mark the attendance are figuring it all out with the online logging. So we need to understand each other. A professor of mine pointed out very rightly in the form about this student-teacher divide that should be broken so that we understand that work is not a singular process but a collaborative one. And she also spoke about how, especially with deadlines, we must realize that only if students finish their work, the teachers finish theirs. And the aspect of time in the education system is another debate. But another example that was given by my professor, another professor that I was talking to, was how institutions do not want to hire married women because it would be harder to ask them to stay back for outside of academic purposes. And this is a commentary on too many flaws in the system. Another popular trait of heroes is that they are anti-institution. This is easy to explain because there is a list of movies where the teacher figure is a very cool person, like a higher intensity Birbal with practical and philosophical responses. And they somehow manage to keep the job despite being anti-management throughout the film. So what I'm trying to say is that we never really get to see the actual behind the scenes of the teaching job. And I don't think it would be a spoiler. I think it would only bring in more admiration and respect for their work. Another question that I asked them is, what is one thing you would want students to know about a teacher's life, mental health or otherwise? And the answers were unbelievably simple. The most popular answers were: 1, teachers have a life. Number 2 is teachers are human beings. So yes, please go ahead and call whoever you want a hero with an understanding that they tick certain boxes for you. Think about whose creation those boxes are. Think about the responsibilities you expect of them because of this label you have given them. And if you have created those boxes, if the definition of a hero is your own, then I need you to only realize that heroes are human too. I want all of you to come back to this, for you to understand that all of what I said applies to almost all units in any system I can think of. And yes, we have a lot to change about the system, but keep in mind that you and I are an active part in the system. So to go back to the first half of the quote we started with, I feel like we all should stay together on the floor, or let's all be on the pedestal. Because I think all of us should be in the same plane where we are able to get a better view of the similarities and connections among all the units in a system or everyone in the society. Because I think that would enable us to engage better in a much healthier manner. Thank you so much.